Welcome to the
Welcome to
100th episode.
Yeah, 100 episodes of Making Video Your
100,
Business.
Chris.
I know, right? 100 episodes of you, me, and a load of guests talking about why video, how important visual content is for your business.
So
and
important.
What's been fantastic about the podcast is we didn't really know if it would go.
No, we were like,
We didn't really know.
Guests?
We didn't even know. We didn't know if it would just be me and you like we are now.
Yeah.
Sat chatting about video. We didn't know whether anyone would care enough to like come and see us and be on the podcast. And we've been genuinely blown away by just people's just graciousness, their
giving their
willingness
time.
to give their time, their
because some of them are like, let's face it, big cheeses.
I mean, we've had
CEOs. They don't have to take a day out of their week.
Yeah, I mean, everyone is important and everyone's role is important and whatever. We're not sort of saying, but when you're talking with people like Nathan Emerson, who's like the CEO of Property Mark, you've had Verona Frankish, who's the CEO of Yopa. You've had Mark Burgess, who runs Iceberg Digital.
Been in Forbes magazine.
Yeah, you're talking about people who are doing jobs for multi-million-pound organizations and they're running it. And they're taking the time out of their diary to come and just chat to us about visuals and stuff. And I think that's lovely. And I think there are so many people, not just in property, but across industry. And we're so fortunate to have such brilliant customers, amazing clients. So
that's some good memories, actually.
2025 now.
Yeah.
So video has become a massive deal.
Real big deal,
which is great. What's really important, I think, is that transition from just lots and lots of written to obviously short form social, TikTok pioneering lots of short stuff, YouTube shorts,
LinkedIn jumping
reels.
on the bandwagon.
LinkedIn really recently added
sub 30
second reels. They've banged those in there.
Do you remember the hoo-ha that was when Instagram a couple of years ago were like, yeah, we're going to move away from being a photographic platform to a video, and everyone was like,
what?
But now
it's
best of both, right?
Yeah. And obviously that nice symmetry between Reels for Facebook and Instagram, really, really good.
Now, this is a question for you.
For me.
It's a tricky one to talk about. It's not, because we've got hints and tips, but confidence on camera. I know you in particular suffer from it.
I suffer.
And I'm just a shy, retiring violet on camera.
I couldn't possibly 100 episodes into the podcast on its own. Couldn't possibly put myself on camera. It's still a thing. We talked about in previous episodes not comparing yourself necessarily to people who've done loads of it.
Yeah, you're chapter 1 to their chapter 10.
and we actually did hark back. There was quite a good bit because we cut back to the prop show, which we did pre-COVID and whatever. And
that was fun, but that was
fun,
budget.
but budget. Yeah. So you do get better. Like with anything else in life, the more you do, the better you get. If you're an athlete, the more you train. If you're a swimmer, the more you swim.
10,000
hours, all that stuff. Yeah. And I think it's like anything else. If the first time you ever do anything at work or you ever do anything public speaking, anything like that, the nerves start to diminish over time.
They do.
Our great mate Chris says there's that fight or flight reflex,
caveman lizard brain,
and that sort of pressure point and that alarm in your head going, oh my god, this is really dangerous for me, whatever.
This is next time maybe 1% less
1%
loud.
less. Yeah, I think over time you just get better at it.
You get better, but you also get a lot better at not caring.
Yes.
Say if I or I trip over a word, I'm like, do you know what? That's just me sometimes, and put it out.
One of the big catalysts for change for me was the pandemic. And I think there was the necessity to get in front of camera. And so a lot of the fear around getting in front of lens diminished, a lot of the kind of panic about doing live stuff, doing stuff in front of other people, because obviously when you're on Zoom calls and Teams calls and all that sort of stuff. Yeah. So that actually helped in a way with technology and also cameras. Also, smartphones now and the younger generation like TikTok and all that sort of stuff. Like, they're making
even
more
now, the supposed, generation that's grown up with all this technology and social media platforms, they're still not quite sure, whereas we've honed our craft a little bit. We now know what we should be doing and how we should be sounding or looking or presenting ourselves, whereas kids, even though they're comfortable with videos, like, they're often quite nervous about doing them themselves because of cyberbullying, the exposure to the rest of the internet. And I mean, and that's what adults are scared of, like the fear of being judged by the unknown. I
think there's things you can do to make yourself confident, right? My tips for this are pretty straightforward. 1, block with impunity. Block with impunity. If someone says something unhelpful, unnecessary, hurtful, look, I'm not saying get rid of people who have an alternative opinion to you.
No,
because it's healthy if you put something out.
If they're being personal,
whatever. If it's like constructive feedback, constructive criticism, or they're taking an opposing view, but they do it in a professional way. Absolutely, because having that dialogue is as important.
Well,
right?
It
creates positive outcome. Not everyone likes everything you're going to say, and that's fine. Right, but have conversations and try and change their mind, or they might change your mind. It's good, talk to people. It's healthy. So 1, use the block button with impunity. 2, if you aren't very confident on camera, just practice on your own. Just put your phone on, put a camera on, do it in the mirror. And if you want to get better at it, just do a little bit of practice. No one has to ever see it. Practice on your own. And the third one, I think, for me is choose a social platform. Particularly if you're looking at a bit from to make video content for your business, and we're talking about business most of the time. We talk about making content for business, not personal stuff, whatever. Like use a platform like LinkedIn, because it's not like inverted commas safe. It's not like a safe whatever, but
it's not as mental as X.
But people are way less likely. Way less likely to put something negative, derogatory, offensive.
It's a professional platform
on a professional platform, and crucially, I don't see loads of random spurious LinkedIn accounts. Like you get weird messages on Facebook from people who are in 97,000 groups and they've got 4 friends, and you get these like connection requests. And you're like, no, that is not a real thing, right? You don't really get that on LinkedIn, because they're either connections or whatever, and your network is loosely closed. It's not, because stuff goes outside.
People who know you,
correct? Know of you, friends of friends and stuff. So it's not. I just think it's easier, and I think it's a big thing. Like if you're uncomfortable, de-risk it. Just like in a business context, like you wouldn't do something that was super risky straight off. You'd test things, manage the risk. You manage the risk, and in a business context. So do that. They're my 3
great
tips.
Segue into my 3.
What are your 3 tips?
First one is make yourself comfortable. Be comfortable. Just on the back of your point there. So. We did some video. Well, we always run video training in this lovely studio. Sort of maybe every couple of months. But we had a lady in from Tamworth.
Oh, Lorraine.
Yeah. One of her top tips is we gave it to her. She was worried. She was doing these walk and talk videos. So not necessarily with a selfie stick, but holding her phone and walking down the high street or through the park, just to give herself a bit of placement and context in the local area. And she said, all I could remember from the first few videos was, don't fall off your heels. Don't fall off your heels. So I said, Lorraine, if you know you're going to go and make a video, just pop a pair of sneakers in the boot or some training shoes or whatever. When you get to your destination, take your high heels off, because no one can see your feet when you're doing a walk and talk anyway. Put your trainers on. That's just one more thing out. Your brain's got less to worry about. So even if you're sitting down on a sofa, make sure the door's shut. Make sure if you've got a brew or a glass of water in case you get thirsty. Make yourself comfortable.
No brew.
I know, no brew today.
No brew.
Low
budget. Low budget.
Back to the prop show.
Come on, Tony.
Number 2 is use, we like to the MacGyver life hacks, but a Post-it note. Pass us your phone, dear boy, please, if you wouldn't mind.
I am sat on it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I am sat on my phone. There you go.
So here's your screen. And as you can see, your lens on a selfie video will be up the top around here.
For those listening to the audio version, Matt is pointing to the camera lens.
Either stick a holiday dot or a reward chart sticker if you've got little people in your life, or a bit of white tack or blue tack just to the left or right of the lens, and then talk to the dot or talk to the blue tack.
Yeah.
And then that alleviates the fear of like, where am I supposed to be looking? Because it's so essential that you make some eye contact.
Yeah, you want to be looking down the lens.
And the final one for this is, and I haven't got one, but imagine this is a Post-it note. Write the notes that you want to get across on your video, like price of the house, the area, the return on investment, if it's a lettings property or whatever. This will allow you to both talk down the lens, not look at yourself to want to change your hair or straighten your collar, but then you'll also be able to remember, because no one can see what's on your screen when you're recording a video, right?
No,
because they're just looking at you.
And when you get a bit more comfortable, as an add-on, as a follow-on from that, if you're comfortable not looking at, you're looking at the holiday dart or whatever, you can download. There's loads of really great free teleprompter apps.
Yes, good shout.
Where you can just have a scrolling script.
If you've got detail that you can't get wrong.
Little script
beautiful.
Or whatever.
Yeah, and that's great for if you're trying to remember particulars from a house, right? And you can't get dimensions wrong or the asking price wrong. I'd say 99% of agents are experts at what they're talking about.
Yeah.
It's just when that red record light comes on and the button gets pressed, they go, I forget what they're saying.
Guys, thank you so much for watching. 100 episodes. We can't believe that we've made it
send us a message if you want to be on the show. Come and chat to Chris and I, all right, and then we'll make some fun memories with you guys.
Yeah.
Cheers, mate.
Cheers, mate.